Okay, so next control quality control tool is Pareto chart. So basically, what is Pareto chart? So Pareto chart is the extension of histogram. So there's a basic difference between Pareto chart and histogram. So we'll understand through example. So in a Pareto chart, there is one important point is that so highest rank is first place. So actually it is a bar graph, and first bar is of highest value and bar is arranged in a diminishing value, right? So this is the difference between Pareto chart and histogram. Okay, so how it works? So it is similar to histogram, means we have to define either the class or one frequency point, and we have to note its occurrence, or simply we have to note the frequency, right? So in that way we have to draw the Pareto chart. Okay, so what is the use of this Pareto chart? So Pareto chart, in another word, it is also called as a 80-20 principle. So what is the 80-20 principle? Means that we have to focus on 20% of the problem which can potential to eliminate 80% defect. Means there are only 20% problem that actually causes overall the problem. If we reduce that 20% of the problem, then there is a major saving if it is a cost, or major reduction in the waste, right? So let us understand through this chart. So this is the defect. So let us say in the casting, so blowhole contributes 50%, hard spot contribute 30%, right? Like this, 10%, 7%, 4%. Now we have to draw this Pareto chart. So again we can observe here there is a graph of y versus x. On x-axis we are putting causes of the failure, that is defect, and on y-axis number of quantities, that is simply frequency. So here we can observe the first defect is blowhole, which contributes 50% of this graph, right? So then there is a hard spot which is contributing 30%, and cold shed which is contributing less than 10%, it is 4%. Now this is the Pareto chart with a diminishing size of this size or height of this bar. So if we concentrate on the 20% of the problem, means this one defect, that is blowhole, which contributes 50% of the defect in overall that casting, right? So we can, if able to reduce this blowhole as a defect, then majority of the defect goes on decreasing, and we can use saving in the suppose wastage of the material, etc. Another example is put here, that is there is a defect. These are the defect on this shaft, and this is the count. So if you observe carefully here, so dent is major defect that contributes 104 of the job, and least is gap, that is 4. Again if you draw this Pareto chart, we can observe here dent is the major problem, followed by scratch by 42 number, dent is 104, right? Hole is 20. This is the diminishing size of this bar. If we concentrate on this dent, which contribute majority of the defect, and if we are able to eliminate this defect, then overall defect of the component we can decrease. So this is the philosophy of the Pareto chart. Again there is a one version of this same example, that's earlier example Pareto chart of the quantity, defective quantity particularly, and this graph is Pareto chart for the cost, right? So cost of component, or cost of defect, right? So if you suppose we take example gap, so there are 4 jobs of the gap, and each job carries 200 rupees loss. So totality there is loss of 800 rupees, 4 multiplied by 200. So cost of gap for the 4 job is 800 rupees due to rejection, suppose, right? So like this we can calculate the overall cost, and here we can observe that so gap contributes majority of the cost, and same is represented again here on the Pareto chart. Here we can observe so gap is a majority and it is diminishing these bars by the size to the strain, right? So this is again Pareto chart for the cost. Means by observing this chart or graph, we can see that the gap is the component that majorly contributes for the cost, right? So if you are thinking on the perspective of the cost saving, then we have to concentrate to eliminate this defect, that is nothing but gap. Though components are less by number 4, right, but their repairing or cost of rejection is very high. That's why total cost become highest component, and here we can observe here the peak in this bar, right? Means this is the 20%. We have to concentrate to eliminate this defect so that other causes are minorly contributing on the overall losses rejection of that component, right? So this is basically how Pareto chart works, right? Next tool is quality control tool is flowchart. Basically what is flowchart? So flowchart is used to represent particular procedure, and it uses symbol and arrows. Generally, what is a procedure? Procedure is use input that is converted into output, and we are checking whether this is in a given specification, as per specification, yes, then it is treated as output. If it is not, then we have to adjust, means we have to give the feedback to the input, and after improvement that becomes again output. So to represent this procedure of converting input into output, so here there are different symbols, different arrows, right? So it constitutes flowchart. So flowchart has different components to represent different symbols and arrows. Let us will check different symbol for that. So this symbol represent start or stop of the procedure. Then this is the for the movement of material is nothing but transportation. This symbol represent operation, particularly it is rectangular. This is the electrical term transmission, it is power transmission. So this diamond shape is for the decision, right, whether process is correct or not correct. So we have to check, we have to inspect, so that is decision. So it is part of quality control. Then this square is for the measurement, inspection, right? So this parallelogram is input or output. So this D shape is for the delay, means waiting either for processing or for the inspection. This is the flow line, and this is the inverted triangle for the storage of material. It is either raw material or finally finished product, or it may be intermittent sub operation where there is need of storage, right? So after symbol here there is one procedure, right, that is earlier explained. Input we have to convert into output, so it is going through procedure. So this is the procedure, particular procedure. It may be suppose product, product is output, and for that we need input as a raw material. So raw material after processing get converted into output, and it is product. But whether it is as per specification, if it is yes, then that is final product. But if it is not, then we need adjustment, we need feedback, we need improvement in the input, in the process, and then again it is check, means it is decision, yes or no, right, whether it is as per specification or not. If yes, then that will be final product, right? So this is the way to represent a flow chart. What is the benefit of this flow chart? So it is a display, graphical display to identify redundance and wasted effort, means it is visualizing technique. If you observe the flow chart of particular product, then we can visualize, we can understand what is the flow in the system, what are the process in the system, what are the, where is the transportation, where is the delay, where is the storage of that material, right? In an inventory management perspective, it is also helpful to track, to trace the different levels of the inventory while work in progress. So again, there is these are the standard symbols which are earlier discussed in the slide. Through that this flow chart is the term working on. Moving ahead, next quality control tool is scatter diagram. So scatter diagram is actually a statistical tool where it is based on equation of the line y is equal to mx plus c. So we have experience to draw the straight line by equation of the straight line y is equal to mx plus c, and these are the scattered data points, and arbitrarily we are drawing this straight line, right? So it is actually correlation between input and output. Means if change in input happens, then what is the effect on output? There are different relation. Means what? If input increases, there is increase in output. So this is direct relation. There is another chance that if input increases, output goes on decreasing. This is the inverse relation. So like this, there are different correlations between input and output, and these are 5 correlations taken into consideration here. It may be perfect positive correlation, means it is straight line, direct proportion. Perfect negative correlation means it is inverse proportion. High degree positive correlation, right? So fitment of data is very accurate, we can call here. High degree of negative correlation, and last is zero correlation, means in between input and output there is no definite relation that can be established to predict output from given input. So these are the different graphs, that is earlier equation y is equal to mx plus c. So this is the positive correlation, this is perfect negative correlation, this is high degree positive correlation, high degree negative correlation, and it is random, that is zero correlation. So last tool is control chart. So control chart establish, one diagram is shown here, upper limit and lower limit, and in between there is a average value. So we are familiar with the giving tolerance. Suppose diameter is 30 and on the top it is written plus minus 0.05, means plus 0.05 to minus 0.05. Within that range the job is accepted. So simply by putting upper and lower limit, so we have to track each and every job. So this is the principle of this control chart. If any job goes outside this upper limit or lower limit, then it is rejected, means we have to either correct that machine or we have to train that manpower. So there is possibilities that graph is moved to either side, means towards the upper limit or towards the lower limit. So this shows that we need to set the machine, because suppose there is a jigs and fixture and we are tightening the screw, we are the clamping, right? There are clamping devices, and if they goes untighten, right? So we need to set that particular machine, that clamp, so it will come in this level of average. So this is the control chart, right? So simply it places upper limit and lower limit, and this is a specified value. Ideally it should work in between upper limit to the lower limit. So benefits of the control charts is when to take corrective action, means right, process goes beyond upper limit or lower limit. Okay, to type of remedial actions we have to carry out. So leave process alone means process is correct, process capability, and quality improvement. So these are the purposes behind doing control chart. Thank you.